Hello, hello, hello. This is Tanda from Cosmic Spark, and I'm back again with another video. This is a continuation of the newer series, which is what I hate about your sign. I am so curious to see how offended people will get just by the title alone. But I will do my usual disclaimer. Taurians, you are not anywhere near the most hated. I will say my own mother is a Taurian. The most friends I've ever had in my life have been Taurian, so you guys have been my best case study in real life. I also have a Taurus moon, so I love Taurians. We're all Venusian ruled, we all have very similar traits, so don't you worry. If I'm saying anything bad about Taurus, I'm saying it about myself as well. Well, let's begin. Okay. Taurians, where do I begin with y'all? We all know that Taurians are represented by the bull, and that the bull is a stubborn animal, and so are you. Oh my god, you guys don't care about whether or not you're wrong or right. You just care that it's your opinion and it's your comfort zone. As soon as something steps out of your comfort zone, as soon as something just doesn't feel good to you, you just don't want it. And it makes sense because Earth energy is really rooted in the senses. And so for you, it's really important that something feels right intrinsically. It's not really important what's sort of happening intellectually. You might be lucky enough to have air energy, and so maybe it does. But if it's not there, it's not really that important to you. Is it pragmatic? Does it suit your current state of mind? Does it suit your thoughts and feelings about the world? That's all you need, and then you're gonna keep it pushing. You guys are so stubborn about being wrong. You're so stubborn about your ideas about the world, wealth especially. We'll get into that shortly. You're so stubborn about your laziness. You're so stubborn about just so many little things, and it gets my goat, okay? Self-esteem is a really, really big issue and crux for unevolved Taurians. That's because that's what the second house rules. And so when Taurians are on the lower level of maturity or unevolved, they can have really, really terrible self-esteems. And the way that it permeates into everything that they do, the things that they say, and dare I say it, some pick-me behavior. It's interesting because as a Libra, I feel like sometimes the flack that we get as Librans are not even that different, if not the exact same, if not something I've seen as more prevalent in Taurians. And I think Taurians don't always have, we're talking obviously, this is what I hate, so it's not everyone. But I find Taurians that I meet have very, very small circles of friends. And so they don't have a lot of people to please. But some people that they may want to please, and if they don't have a good self-esteem, the way that it comes across is really, really cringeworthy. But you might not see it if you're not close to a Taurus, because Taurians kind of always look chill. They mind their own business. So unless you're in their inner circle, you don't think that this person is going out of their way to do some very pick-me behavior. But the worst that I've seen it is particularly in dating. When Taurians don't have a good self-esteem, they just want to be swept up in love. They just want to be taken away into a new reality with someone who takes care of them. And sometimes because they haven't worked on their self-esteem, they end up attracting partners that they have to take care of. But it can go two ways. So yeah, when the self-esteem isn't that high, they can just throw themselves at people and want to get validation through the people that they date. But it can also go another way. Sometimes you Taurians, your self-esteem, or sorry, your ego, not your self-esteem, your ego is so huge that you think you deserve everything. And this is still to me an unevolved and lower expression of Taurus, right? Is you think that you deserve everything, and so you need to find, and most of the times, because I mainly have Taurian women friends as well. So this is specifically to you, Taurian women. We'll get to the Taurus men. Taurus women will find men that will spoil them financially. That feeds their ego, and that makes them feel like they have landed where they deserve to be in society. Because a lot of like how I see Taurian women to identify has to do with finances. Sometimes just them getting themselves in a better financial position improves their self-esteem. And if they can't do it themselves, they will find a partner that takes care of that. Because Taurians are earth signs, so they're all about security, right? So they want money is like the biggest and best way to secure yourself in this life, in this physical reality. But what I find Taurian women do is they compromise money. That's all they end up seeing in a relationship. And so a lot of Taurians that I've known, have seen, have read for, will have a partner who indulges that, gives them everything they want in that area, but they don't get the emotional support, and they don't get other things that they would otherwise need and or want and or deserve. And something I've noticed, maybe obviously this isn't dependent on star signs specifically, but Taurians have a very interesting moral compass. It's kind of probably not even that similar to Aries, but like in terms of selfishness, very similar to Aries. But how it comes across in Taurians, I find Taurians very chill about the idea of cheating on their partner. If they can come to like a logical understanding where it's like, this is the person that fulfills these needs. And since I can't get these needs, if I can't get certain aspects of my needs fulfilled by this person, then it makes sense for me to, I'll give them what they want. I'll sit pretty, I'll get the money, I'll look good for them when we go out. But at the end of the day, if I'm not getting good sex, if I'm not getting good this, then I'm just going to go find it. Because life is short. This is going to ruffle some feathers, I tell you that now. Okay. What else do I not like about Taurians? So the focus on finances is an interesting one. Now, Taurian men I have found to be really hardworking and very focused on their careers at the detriment of the romance. Unless you happen to be the one for them, when they're out here dating, sometimes they're barely put any effort in. And it's that feminine energy of an earth sign, right? Earth signs are feminine energy. And Taurian men want you to message them. They want you to put in the effort so that they know that you're good enough to spend time with them. And what is with you Taurian men and camping? A lot of Taurian men I meet camping, big ass cars, like it's like a uniform for you guys. And they're always really very big. If they're lucky enough to be tall, then it's fine. If they're not lucky to be tall, then they just look very stout. Taurians can be lazy. Taurians can be very lazy. And it's not their fault. You know, all Venus ruled people can be lazy. But Taurians in particular, wow. Like, especially when you work with Taurians, when you meet a certain kind of Taurian, you get the two types. You get ones that are like really focused on working hard because they value money. They value resources. So they therefore value their employer and want to do everything that they can to please their employer so that they can get their money and go. And then, on the other hand, you've got a lot of Taurians, and for me, in my experience, a lot of Taurian women, I'm sure the men are the exact same, where at work they do exactly what the minimum amount of work required is to get the job done and to get the paycheck and leave. This actually, I know I'm talking about things I hate. I do hate this because maybe it's because I struggle controlling how hard I work. I tend to overwork, realize that I'm not getting equal back, getting what I deserve from my employer, and then I pull it back. Whereas Taurians are kind of just like, they kind of, because they're consistent, whatever energy they enter a company in is the energy that they leave in. And so if that's minimum amount of effort, that's it. And they'll just blatantly tell you, like, yeah, people think I work hard, but I literally just do as much as my KPIs allow so that it looks like I'm doing my job. I don't care about being the best at this company. I just care about getting my paycheck and going. Because probably in another world or outside of the workplace, they have people that financially take care of them. So if you had someone financially taking care of you too, you'd probably just do the bare minimum. Okay, let me see. I just hate how selfish Taurians can be. If they, whatever their agenda is, even if you're their friend, they can have a real callousness about how they pursue things that are within their agenda. Oh, that's it. Taurians and lack of tact when you're talking. You guys can be so careless about how you speak your truth. I said the same thing about Aries people. You know, you guys can be a little too blunt in ways that can incite people doing it back to you, and I don't think you appreciate that. Taurians will be quick to cut you off, you know, if you disrespect them. It depends who. I think they're much easier or quicker to cut off their friends than their partners, to be fair. But also, I mean, Taurians will put up with a lot. But I find to get into a Taurus's inner circle, they have to evaluate that you play within certain rules. You have to kind of be able to feed a Taurus's ego in some way. They like that. They need a little self-esteem bump. You know what I mean? Because Taurus as a sign has this habit of looking at things and people like their possessions. And I think Taurians really do that. And that's kind of where the possessiveness comes from, even if they are not as faithful to the relationship. I'm not saying it's like an epidemic of Taurians cheating, but I'm just saying sometimes they really do be. And they're just like, but you're mine. But like not in like the cute way where you're reading like a light Mills and Boone, but more like in like the deep way where they're like, no, you're mine. You can't do that. You can't act out of the script. That's not the script I gave you. You guys will stay in a relationship way, way, way longer than is natural. It's okay to give up because some of the lengths that you guys go to not leave a relationship is scary. I need you to pack it in. I need you to say goodbye to that person because just because you guys have longevity doesn't mean you have to do everything for a long time. You don't have to stay in a dead-end job, which some of you will do. You don't have to stay in a dead-end relationship, which some of you will do. It's okay to change. It's this like, there's this aspect of you that hates change to a detrimental level, and you've got to do something about that. You got to do something about that. You know, I'm saying that as a Taurus moon, so I can understand. Sometimes I feel like I have to tick certain boxes before I leave a situation so that I can be like, I've made a pragmatic decision to leave and I don't have to regret it. I assume Taurian suns do the same thing. Yeah, Taurians are very quick at their judgment of people. Taurians are the type to meet you and just think, I don't like her, I do like her, that person's beneath me, that person isn't. And if you have come up on the wrong end of that evaluation, then they literally don't give a fuck how they come across. You can cry and scream and whatever, but at the end of the day, they don't care. Taurians, you guys can be so jealous and possessive. You guys can be jealous friends. You guys can be jealous lovers. And sometimes it's a bit much. The lengths that I've seen Taurian women go to, and sometimes the double standard of it all is like what they want or expect out of their partner to show loyalty and like, yeah, to show loyalty to the relationship isn't necessarily what they're doing, but they will demand it. Taurians will like, I can't, like, what did Scissor say? I can see I'm blind, blind. That is Taurians about the double standards that they have with the people that they love. Like, you just have to be close to a Taurus and you know what I mean. But yeah, like Taurian women being like, you can't have friends that are women, or like maybe not saying it outright, but as soon as you have a friend that is a woman, arcing up and having the biggest fucking conniption about it. Um yeah, jealous, possessive, like obviously, because you guys are sister signs with Scorpio, so you guys have the same level of crazy. It's just well hidden under like layers of like cool, calm, and collected. That's what you guys are really good at. You guys are really good at looking cool, calm, and collected, and not actually being cool, calm, and collected. But I mean, it does take sometimes a lot to rouse that in a Taurus. You do have to cross certain lines, and sometimes like a build up of lines that you've crossed. But once the gloves are off with a Taurus, man, they will say some things that you don't want to hear. They don't give a fuck. But anyway, Taurians, I love you. I hope you've enjoyed hearing about your shadow aspects. I'm sure some of it hurt, and I'm sure some of you are going to say that I'm wrong, and that's okay. And those of you that can admit it, maybe because you've matured past these traits, or maybe because you're okay to admit that you're wrong, welcome. Come through, talk to me in the comments, let me know what you thought. I hope you watched the What I Love About Taurus video previously, because I would love that. And like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.